Hey everybody, welcome to the RealAg Radio after show here on Monday, June 6th. Hope you're having yourself a great day. Lots happening here as we enter the first full week of June. Let's get started with the RealAg Radio after show. Hope everybody could hear that music because I couldn't. So hopefully you can hear me, and hopefully we don't have some sort of technical issue. Today on the show we had a great one. So we had Peter Wheatpea Johnson with us. We also heard from Jeremy Boychin of Alberta Wheat and Barley Commission. We had a product spotlight with Climate Fieldview, and we also did the top ag news stories of the day. I always enjoy Mondays because we get a really good chance to talk to agronomists, hear some educational stuff as it applies to what's happening kind of across the country from an agronomic perspective. Always really enjoy that and always learn something. It was interesting today, we were talking to Jeremy Boychin from Alberta Wheat and Barley Commission, and he was talking about how, based on the research that he has seen, it really doesn't provide much of a benefit, or maybe no benefit at all, depending on which study you look at, to go like at a half rate of fungicide in with your herbicide. And this is this reminds me going back to, remember the tilt days? Remember we had tilt? Yeah. And everybody was doing that. They were doing like a half rate of tilt at the time of herbicide application. And I didn't realize it, but some people are still doing this kind of stuff. And, Jeremy had talked about how that really wasn't an effective strategy. So curious as to, if it's not an effective strategy, why does this kind of stuff still happen? One of the thoughts that I had come through my head right away when it comes to going with cut rates of fungicide at herbicide time, I thought of the situation, what we've learned with herbicide resistance, where it's not advantageous to go with a half, a cut rate of herbicide, because what we're doing is we're building resistance, right? We're not zapping those weeds with that full rate, that rate that's been kind of, it's gone through the testing. You need to have that lethal rate on those weeds. And when we go with more of a half rate, we're allowing the weeds to kind of select. We're allowing the weeds to kind of get used to I'm not scientifically describing this very well, but the toxicity level and over time they're able to survive. Well, why wouldn't that be the case in fungicides? That's kind of what I sort of thought of as we talk about fungicide resistance that applies to those half rates. So there's probably some people out in the audience that are much more informed on something like that than I am. And I would love to hear from any of you that have comment about whether you have seen any sort of real effectiveness, a benefit to going with that half rate of fungicide during herbicide time. And as we look across the country, we of course are seeing a dramatic differences in where we are at with this crop stage. I mentioned today on RealAg Radio the poll that we have going at realagriculture.com, basically trying to get a sense of how quickly, how fast, if you get good conditions, no bad weather, no adverse weather conditions at all, how long does it take you to put that crop in? Because what we've seen is a situation where it happens fast. And I'll show you here. There we go. This is this week's USDA. What is it? It's the corn. It's the corn, the planted corn progress report. Oh my goodness, I can't get the words out. And the one that is amazing to me, to give you an idea how fast we can plant this crop, is right here on the, okay, so as of June 5th on North Dakota, we're at 81%, okay? Definitely behind where we'd like to be. I believe, 2 years ago, last year was 96% at this time. The 5-year average is 92. Last week, we were 56. So essentially in a week, we did like 25% of the crop. That's amazing to me. Heard the same thing from people in Manitoba where they got like, a 4-day window and they got tons of acres in the ground. Talked to a grower from Eastern Saskatchewan today, and he's like, I went from like 10 to 89% in a very short period of time. So all we really need is that open window to get a lot of acres in the ground. And once again, we really prove that. Let's look at if we can get there's the emergence. So right now the average is 78%. So that's got a lot better if you look at it. It was... Last week was 61. This week is 78, and the 5-year average is 81. So we're not too far behind anymore. Let's go soybeans. The average now is 78%. Oh, so we're pretty much to the 5-year average now. Last year we were 89% at this time. So that's not too different. What do we got here? There's emergence. I want to get to the wheat. Cotton, well, we don't need to talk about that. Cotton condition, rice emerged, rice condition, peanuts. Where are they? See, where's wheat? Oh my goodness. Sorghum, wheat takes a back. Thing is, it's in alphabetical order. Winter wheat headed. Where's the condition? Is the condition below? Winter wheat harvested. Winter wheat condition. So let's look here. The 18 state average is, so we got to look at this. So it is right now 26 plus 30. Okay, so that's the good to excellent. I'm doing this on the go, as you can tell. So only 4% is excellent. 26% is good, and the very poor and poor, 23 plus 17. So still the majority there on both, you look at the bell curve there, 23 plus 17, that is 40% is a really abysmal, very poor or poor. So that gives you an idea of the condition of the U.S. wheat crop. Let's go back here, and then I'm going to do a switcheroo, little trickery on the go here. The other thing we talked about was this is from my notes right from the show. In Alberta, we've got 95% of the crop in the ground. What I wanted to actually, this story right here. This one. Russia wheat export forecast raised. Sovicon, one of the leading agriculture consultancies in Moscow, said on Friday that it had raised its forecast for Russia's wheat exports in the new July-June marketing season by 1.3 million tons to 42.3. I don't know about you, but nowadays, whenever I see that kind of stuff come out of Russia, I used to sort of say, I wonder what the reason for this is, or, why this is happening, or what are they really up to? And now I think a lot of times about the motivation. Because you see some of the bombings of the grain terminal that they did in Ukraine on the weekend, just terrible stuff, especially at a time where supposedly they were negotiating those humanitarian corridors. Just Russia is completely up to no good. What I would love to hear from you as well is I want to get a clearer picture of where you are at in your crop stages. And we get these crop reports. We kind of went through a few of them there, but I love getting pictures from you. You can send them to me, shaney@realagriculture.com. Or, of course, you can let me know via the Real Ag listener line, 855-776-6147. We did hear a product spotlight today from Climate Field View. And one of the things that Marvin tells me we were talking about was the fact that, getting stuff into the digital sphere really does allow for you to kind of clean up some of the papers and stuff you got floating around the pickup truck. And that's just you. Never mind when you have team members and things like that, that you're trying to have good communication on. And I sort of thought of my own broadcasting desk here, and I can't really show you because I can't move the camera, but I have got paper everywhere. And I've got notes everywhere. I've got notes written on the back of notes. And so trying to find anything can be a real challenge, especially when somebody comes here and starts moving stuff, because I kind of have a system that I've sort of developed that involves the desktop and the floor around me. Yes, I am one of those people that puts papers all on the floor around me. And when I heard the interview with Climate Field View, I sort of thought of, yeah, this is kind of talking to me as well, in the sense of trying to get everything down into one spot that is accessible by myself and others that are on the team. So I can kind of identify with some of the reasons why you would go with a digital platform to get that stuff off the paper into the computer and make it easily accessible, sortable, and do those queries and all the things you want to do to get that information as fast as possible. I actually have to cut it short today because I have to run to a meeting, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in today to RealAg Radio. And here for the RealAg After Show. We'll kind of do this Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe Thursday this week. We'll see how it goes. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we'll chat again later. Cheers, everybody.